What happened in the Halo universe after the events of Halo 4? Welcome to the Complete Story Series. We take trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then we read it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Don't forget to support this industry by purchasing these comics online on Comixology or going to your local comic book store. If you want more comic books read just like this one, make sure you check out our sister channel, Comicstorian. This is the first half of Halo Escalation Volume 1. 5 years after the Human Covenant War, long-lost Spartan John 117, the Master Chief, has been rescued off of a Forerunner shield world known as Requiem. The attack that happened on Earth opened the door to an emergent threat in the form of Jewel Madama, a Covenant renegade that took command of the Didax Promethean army. The UNSC Infinity, led by Captain Thomas Lasky, is deployed to prevent Madama from gaining control of the Requiem, led by a new generation of Spartans, led by Commander Sarah Palmer. While the Infinity pushed Madama's forces into a retreat, it's going to be a short-lived victory. The Infinity was moved off of its mission to track down Madama, and it's been moved onto a diplomatic mission. With the post-war environment, the Old Covenant forces are battling over resources, and the Arbiter would like to negotiate with the Brutes. Admiral Hood wants the Infinity and its Spartans, led by Commander Palmer, to provide escort and security. Everyone convenes in neutral airspace on a nearby planet, which conveniently needs to take place when there's an electrical storm blocking all communications from ship to surface. As the Elder Brute Chieftain and the Arbiter begin their negotiations, Palmer walks the hallways ensuring everyone is safe, and that's when she sees one of Arbiter's guards in a pool of his own blood. "Oh hell, Scruggs, go red!" she calls over the radio to her team, but it's too late as the wall explodes and the Old Covenant forces begin to invade. Palmer leaps over the table, kicking one of the troops in the face as the Elder Chieftain exclaims, "This is an outrage." Scruggs relays Palmer's message, "Everyone to your ships, we're leaving." The Chieftain demands to know what is going on. What is the Arbiter planning? But as the Arbiter cuts through the troops, he tells the Chieftain, these aren't his men. Palmer tries to call up the rest of Team Jackknife to let them know to get the ships ready for dust-off, but the storm is causing too much static and Team Jackknife can't get the message. The only thing that they're able to make out is kill the bad guys. All hell breaks loose as Banshees come in for an assault, and Palmer pushes the Arbiter down, saving him. As they try to make their way over the planet's surface, the Admiral realizes that the Infinity can't get their communications and no reinforcements are going to be coming. So they make their way to the parts depot on the planet, and that's where they come up with a plan. Palmer is going to get the ambassadors to the redoubt to prepare to get off the planet, while Commander Lasky will take Spartan Ray to the communications tower and re-establish communications with the Infinity. But at that moment, a dropship prepares to drop its troops off, self-assured that they will be successful as long as their secret agent on the inside doesn't get found out. Palmer sends DeMarco off to secure the area at Redoubt ahead of everyone, and the Chieftain and Arbiter insist that they want to go as well. If there's honor to be had, it will be shared by all. But Palmer puts them in their places. While you might be warriors any other day, today you're diplomats and you will not be fighting. She breaks the team up into a secure team and the escort team. She then takes everyone's grenades to provide the cover that they will need to move to their next location. Loading a helmet full of the grenades, she throws the whole thing in a nearby lich and bombs the entire ship. DeMarco calls up Palmer to ask if she's okay, but the enemy is now pointing their rifles at her, and she tells him that she'll get back to him on that one. Meanwhile, Lasky and Spartan Ray are dealing with their own issues as the enemy has found them lurking around, trying to find the communication array. Spartan Ray jump kicks the Elite and then throws a knife trying to cut him, but he dodges it, so Lasky cracks him over the head with an assault rifle, and Ray shoots the Elite through the head. Finally able to get to the transponder, Ray looks over the network and realizes the storm isn't causing the communication blackout. Someone is purposefully pumping a massive amount of power to jam all communications, but this means she can track the jamming to its source. Back with Palmer, she's still pinned by an Elite ready to kill her, until Scruggs slices the back of the Elite with a sword that he picked up. As Palmer gets back to her group, she finds the Admiral pilfering through the Elites that the Spartans dropped. "What are you doing, sir?" she asks. "Someone informed these guys of the location of this negotiation, and I'm hoping that they have something on them that'll tell us who it was." That's when he finds a UNSC tablet that has a listing of everyone at the negotiations. "These guys were hired guns, Palmer," the Admiral tells her. "Someone leaked all of this information." Back with Lasky and Ray, they melee a few more of the Elites and they steal their Banshees, allowing them to get to the location of that power surge. But as Palmer and the escort get closer to their objective, they get a broken radio transmission from Scruggs telling her that he's secured the area and he's waiting for them. But as we have a look in the redoubt, we can see that Scruggs is the only survivor. Not only did he manage to kill the Elites, but the Spartans are dead as well. Back with Spartan Ray and Lasky, they manage to dock and kill every one of the elites and grunts in their way until they find the reactor and they open fire on it. After a massive explosion, Ray turns back to Lasky. Comms should be open now. Palmer, Scruggs, and the ambassadors all enter the redoubt, getting ready to find a ship to get them off of this planet, and the ambassadors begin to argue about their negotiations. Palmer tells them to stop because it'll just be counterproductive to argue now while they're under attack. But that's when Scruggs grabs Admiral Hood and puts a gun to his head. Friends, I think productivity is the least of your worries. What the hell are you doing? Palmer says, pulling her pistols out. The Arbiter then turns his attention to Scruggs and asks, Human, what is it you want? That's a long list, Arbiter, but we'll have time to talk about it while my associates arrive. For God's sake, Scruggs, you're a Spartan, Palmer tells him. I am a Spartan, but what you fight for isn't always who you fight for. Oh, so now you're an insurrectionist? Listen to you, Palmer. You think there's only two sides to this war? Why do you think the UNSC blamed the Covenant remnants for the attack on New Phoenix? Why do you think the Arbiter hasn't been able to make peace in the last 5 years without help? Where's your buddy Master Chief after all of this? You don't understand half of what is going on, Commander. Palmer lowers her head. I'm sorry. And Scruggs is confused. That's not the response that I was expecting. I wasn't apologizing to you, Scruggs. And Palmer shoots Admiral Hood through the leg, hitting Scruggs in the leg. Palmer then throws a knife through Scruggs' wrist, punching him across the face, kneeing him in the gut, and then she elbows him in the jaw before cutting his throat. With the traitor removed, you would think it's over. But that's when Lasky comes over the comms to warn Admiral Hood and Palmer that there are 10 heavy cruisers coming for them right now. She calls up DeMarco to find out what they're able to defend themselves with, and DeMarco tells her that they have an AA gun with no targeting system and a cargo ship with no guns. So Lasky calls up Palmer on a closed channel. You need to leave DeMarco's team on those guns so we can get away. You know what'll happen to them, Captain. I know, Palmer, but I also know what'll happen if we lose the ambassadors. That's an order, Sarah. Yes, sir. She walks over to DeMarco. So the plan is, I'm gonna get the bigwigs out on the tugboat you found. I suppose you'll be needing cover fire then. They both look at each other, knowing what that means. Paul, is there anything I can do? Actually, yeah. Madsen loaned me a book a while back. Tell him I read it and that it wasn't bad. Only wasn't bad? He'll know I didn't read it if you say it was the best thing I've ever read. They both give a salute and DeMarco walks off. Palmer got the ambassadors off the planet on the little ship, and DeMarco provided all of the cover fire that they needed. Even when he was told that they were clear and he could get out, he knew what needed to be done and he stayed to finish it. This created a rift between Palmer and Captain Lasky. She knows the ambassadors won't agree on anything, but as Lasky says, their job wasn't to make them agree. After 1 week, the Admiral and the Captain have a meeting, and they discuss the situation. Someone leaked this information to the enemy, someone with a much higher security clearance than a Spartan, and they need to find that traitor. And that is the first half of Halo Escalation Volume 1, where they basically have a traitor and he spoils everything going on. Personally, I love the Halo franchise, and I love the fact that there's an entire expanded universe brought to you by Dark Horse Comics. Very soon, we'll be bringing you Part 2, where we find out who that traitor really is. I'm Benny for Eligible Monster, bringing you a comic book just like we do on Comicstorian, and I'll see you next time right here.